Now you remember. I was in South Africa, the diamond business, then Amsterdam, the diamond market. I wanted to go back to South Africa, and Dr. Einstein made it possible for me.
Didn't he take off the bandages? His face looked so different. The nurse had to introduce me.
Yes, I love that face. I still carry a picture with me.
Well, this looks more the way you used to look, but still I wouldn't know you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Oh yeah, it's safe now.
Well, I'm sure you both want to get to, well, where you're going.
And Tabby, I'm so full of that delicious dinner, I'm unable to move a muscle.
Yeah, it's nice here.
After all, it's very late and...
I found it!
What did you find,
The
Teddy?
story of my life, my biography. Here's the picture I was telling you about, General. Here we are, the both of us, General Goebbels and President Roosevelt at Culver County. That's me, General, and that's you.
My, how I've changed.
Well, you see, that picture hasn't been taken yet. We're still digging locks. We haven't even started work on Culver County. And now, General, you will accompany me on the inspection of the new lock.
No, Teddy, not to Panama.
We go some other time. Panama's a long way off.
Nonsense! It's just down in the cellar.
The cellar?
We'd like to dig the Panama Canal in the cellar.
Teddy.
General Goebbels, as President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, and the man who gave you this job, I demand that you accompany me on the inspection of the new lock.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
Beg your pardon? Who are you?
I'm Abe Lincoln. Go to bed.
No, you're not Lincoln, but your face is familiar. Let me see. You're not anyone I know now. Perhaps later. Yes, on my hunting trip to Africa. You look like someone I might meet in the jungle. Oh, that's
Your brother Jonathan, dear, he's had his face changed.
so that's it. A nature faker.
And you had better go to bed, Teddy. Jonathan and his friend have to go back to their hotel.
Inspect the canal, General Goebbels.
All right, Mr. President, we go to Panama.
Bully. Follow me, General. Here you go. It's down south, you know.
Well, bon voyage.
And Tabby, I must correct your misapprehension. You spoke of our hotel. We have no hotel. We came directly here, straight.
Oh dear, there's a very nice little hotel.
And
Three
my
beds.
God, this is my home.
But Jonathan, we can't stay here. We need our rooms.
You need them?
Yes, for our lodgers.
Are the lodgers in the house?
Well, not now, but we plan to have some.
Then my old room is still free.
But Jonathan, that wouldn't be the place for Dr. Einstein.
He'll sleep with me.
No, Jonathan, I'm afraid you can't stay here.
Now, you remember this afternoon that as a boy, I could be very disagreeable. And it wouldn't be pleasant for any of us if I had to try.
Perhaps we'd better let them stay here tonight. Well,
That's settled. Now, if you'll get my room ready immediately, I'll be
it
glad.
only needs airing out. Yes, we keep it ready to show our lodgers. I think you or Dr. Einstein will find it comfortable.
Not the most distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't appreciate his skill, but you will. In a few weeks, you'll see me looking like a very different Jonathan.
He can't operate on heat.
And when we get organized and resume our practice, and oh, I guess I forgot to tell you, we're turning grandfather's laboratory into an operating room. We expect to be quite busy.
Jonathan, we will not let you turn this house into a
The
hospital.
hospital? Oh, heavens no. It will be a beauty parlor.
long, 4 feet wide. It just fits Mr. Spinalzo.
Down there?
It's as if they knew we were bringing Mr. Spinalzo along. That's our specialty.
A rather good joke on my aunt, living in a house with a body buried in the cellar.
How did we get him in?
Yes, you can't just walk him through the door. Let's see. The window. We'll drive the car between the house and the cemetery. Then, when everyone's gone to bed, we'll bring the dead body in through the window.
Bed. Just think, we get to bed tonight, Johnny.
Yes. Easy, doctor. Remember, you're operating tomorrow, and this time, you better be sober.
I fix you a beautiful
And if you don't, I'll...
Jonathan, your room is ready.
That's great. Then you two can run along to bed. Dr. Einstein and I are bringing the car between the house and the cemetery.
It's all right where it is until morning.
Why, I don't want to leave it at the street. That might be against the law.
Abby, what are we going to do? Well, we're not going to let them stay one more night in this house, for one thing. I mean, what would the neighbors think? People coming in here with one face and going out with another? But what will we do about Mr. Hoskins? Oh, Mr. Hoskins. It can't be very comfortable for him in there. He's been so patient, the poor dear. Yes. I think Teddy better get Mr. Hoskins downstairs right away. Yes. Abby. I will not invite Jonathan to the funeral services. Oh, no. We'll wait until they've gone to bed and then come down and hold the services.
General Goebbels is very good. He says the canal is just the right size.
Teddy has been another yellow fever victim.
Dear me, this will be a shock to the general.
Then we mustn't tell him about it.
But it's his department.
No, Teddy, you mustn't tell him. It would just spoil his visit.
I'm sorry, Aunt Abby. It's out of my hands. Army regulations, you know.
No, Teddy, you mustn't tell him. Yes.
Well, we have to. It's his department.
No, Teddy, you must keep it a secret.
A secret?
Yes, a state secret. Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart and hope to die. Now, how are we going to keep it a secret?
Well, you come down. When I turn out the lights, when it's all dark, you come back up and take the poor man down to the canal. Now come along, Teddy, and we'll be right down to hold the services.
You may announce the President will say a few words. Where is the poor devil?
He's in the window seat.
Dear me, it seems to be spreading. We've never had yellow fever there before.
Martha, when Jonathan and Dr. Einstein come back, we'll see if we can get them to go to bed right away. Yes. Then by the time they're asleep, we'll be all dressed and ready for the funeral. Abby, I've never seen Mr. Hoskins before. Oh my goodness, that's right, you have. Just come and see him now, then. He's really very nice looking, considering he's a Methodist. Wow!
We're bringing the luggage for you.
Jonathan, the room is waiting for you. You can go right up.
I'm afraid you don't keep Brooklyn hours, but you two run along to bed.
Now you must be very tired, both of you, and we don't go to bed this early.
Well, you should. It's time I came home to take care of you.
Well, we weren't ready to go to bed.
Aunt Martha, did you hear me say, go to bed? Now, the instrument case can go up to the laboratory in the morning. We're all going to bed. Right through the hall, Doctor. Run along, Aunt Martha.
I'll wait till you're up and then turn out the lights.
All right, Aunt Tabby. Turn out the lights.
We'll all be right up.
very good. And together, we won't get them down to Panama.
All right. I'll take a look around the house. When I tap on the glass, open the window.
Okay. Who's that? This thing over. Johnny, are you there? Johnny, if you need to hurry. The ad space up. Johnny, hurry.
Be more careful.
Yeah, the shoe came off. There's someone at the door. Okay, no, go take care of this.
Miss Abby! Miss Martha! Miss Abby! Miss Martha! Who is that? Is that you, Teddy? Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Elaine Harper. I live next door.
Then what are you doing here, huh?
I came over to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Turn on the lights, doctor. You chose rather an untimely moment for a social call, huh?
No. I think you'd better explain what you're doing here.
We happen to live here.
You don't live here. I'm in this house every day and I've never seen you before. Where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha? What have you done to them?
Perhaps we'd better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein.
Dr. Einstein?
Yes, a surgeon of great distinction and somewhat of a magician.
And I suppose you're going to tell me you're Boris Karloff.
I am Jonathan Brewster.
Oh, you're Jonathan.
I see you've heard of me.
Yes, just this afternoon for the first time.
And what did they say about me?
Only that there was another brother named Jonathan. That's all that was said. Well, that explains everything. Now that I know who you are, I'll be running along back
You're
home.
not doing anything.
That explains everything. Just what did you mean by that explains
I
everything?
thought I saw someone prowling around the house.
Oh,
I
you thought you
suppose-
saw someone prowling around the house.
Yes, weren't you outside? Isn't that your car?
What else did you see?
Just someone walking around the house to the car.
What else did you see?
Just that. That's all. I came over to tell Miss Abby to call the police. But if that was you and that's your car, I don't need to bother Miss Abby. I'll be running along.
What was the man doing at the car?
I don't know. See, I was on my way over here.
I think she's lying.
I think she tells the truth. We let her go now.
I think she's lying. Breaking into the house at this time of night, I think she's dangerous. She shouldn't be lying around loose.
Take your hands off me! Ah!
It's going to be a private funeral.
Teddy! Teddy, tell this man who I am!
That's my daughter, Alice.
No! No! Teddy!
I'll cut your pretty face off.
What's the matter? What's happening down there?
We caught a burglar, a sneak thief.
We'll call police.
We called the police. We'll handle this. Go back to your bed. Do you hear me?
Asleep. Mortimer, what have you been?
It's a Nora-based theater. And I should have heard better. Oh. God, I'm still there.
This is your brother Jonathan, dear. This is Dr. Einstein.
I know this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come and called Mortimer.
Who did you say this was?
This is your brother Jonathan, dear. He's had his face changed. Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you always were a horror, but you have to look like one.
Now, Johnny.
Oh, my dear Mortimer. Have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were little boys? When I tied you to the bedpost, the needles under your fingernails.
My God, it is Jonathan. Yes, I remember. I remember you as the most detestable, vicious, venomous form of animal life I ever knew.
Now don't you two boys stop quarreling again the minute you've seen each other.
There won't be a fight again, Abby. Jonathan, you're not wanted here. Get out.
Dr. Einstein and I have been invited to stay.
Oh, not in this house.
Just for tonight.
But I don't want him anywhere near me.
But we did invite them to stay for tonight. And it wouldn't be very nice to go back on our word.
All right, tonight. But first thing in the morning, out. Where are they sleeping?
We put them in Jonathan's old room.
That's my old room. Oh, I'm sleeping in that room. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
Oh,
You sleep down here tonight, Tony.
you bet your life you sleep down there.
You'll sleep on the couch and I'll sleep on the window.
The window seat. Woo! Oh, well, my dear brother, you can have my room for tonight. The window seat's good enough for me. I'll just sleep on the window seat.
No, Tony. Well, this arguing, it makes me think of Mr. Spinazzo.
Oh, well, Mortimer, it really isn't necessary to inconvenience you like this. We'll sleep down here tonight.
Jonathan, your sudden consideration for me is very unconvincing.
Come now, Tony. We go back our things.
Don't bother, Doctor.
You know, I've completely lost track of Mr. Spinalza.
Who's this Mr. Spinalza?
Well, just a friend Tony's been looking for.
Well, don't bring anybody else in here.
Oh, don't worry. I'll tell you all about him before we go pack our things.
Now, Mortimer, you don't have to sleep down here. I can go with Martha and you can take my room.
No bother, Aunt Tabby. We'll be packed in a few minutes. And then, Mortimer, you can have your old room.
You're just wasting your time. I told you I'm sleeping down here.
Mortimer!
What's the matter with you, dear?
I've almost been killed.
You've almost been. Abby, Martha?
No! It was Jonathan. He mistook her for a sneak thief. No, it was more than that. He's some kind of maniac. Mortimer, I'm afraid of him.
Why, darling, you're trembling. Have you got any smelling salts?
No, but how about some hot tea or coffee?
Coffee.
All
Make
right.
some for me, too. I had some sandwiches. I haven't had any dinner.
All right, we'll make some for the both of you. Martha, we can leave our hats downstairs now.
You aren't going anywhere, were you? But do you know what time it is? It's after 12. 12? Oh, Elaine, you've got to go home.
What? Why, you wanted some sandwiches for the both of you. It won't be a minute. Yes, why, don't you remember? We wanted to celebrate your engagement.
Oh.
That's what we'll do, dear. We'll make a nice supper for the both of you. And we'll open a bottle of wine.
No wine!
Right. Mortimer. Mortimer, what's going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
You were supposed to take me to dinner in the theater tonight. You called it off. You asked me to marry you. I said I would, and 5 minutes later you threw me out of the house. Tonight, just after your brother tries to strangle me, you want to chase me back home? Now, listen, Mr. Brewster. Before I go home, I want to know where I stand. Do you love me?
I love you very much, Elaine. In fact, I love you so much I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
I don't think so, but it's only a matter of time. You see, insanity runs in my family. It practically gallops. That's why I can't marry you, dear.
Now, wait a minute. You've got to do
Oh,
better
no,
than that.
dear. There's a strange taint in the Brewster blood. If you knew my family, well, it's what you'd expect if The Wizard of Oz was written by Hitler.
Well, just because Teddy is...
No, it goes way back. The first Brewster, the one who came on the Mayflower, you know, in those days they used to scout the settlers. Well, he used to scout the Indians.
Mortimer, that's ancient history.
No, the whole family. But take grandfather, for instance. He tried to patent medicines out of dead people to make sure he wouldn't kill them.
He wasn't so crazy. He made $1 million.
And then there's Jonathan. You just said he was a maniac. He tried to kill you.
But he's your brother, not you. I'm in love with you.
Ugh. And then there's Teddy, too. You know Teddy. He thinks he's Roosevelt. No, dear. No Brewster should marry her. I realize now that if I'd met my father in time, I'd have stopped him.
Well, all this doesn't mean you're crazy. Look at your aunts. They're Brewsters, aren't they? And some of the sanest, sweetest people I've ever known.
Well, even they have their peculiarities.
Oh, yes, but what lovely peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy. Oh.
There's another one! I'm not going to, Elaine. You go along home. Something has just come up.
Where?
No.
We're here alone together.
Look, Elaine, I know I'm acting irrationally, but just put it to the fact that I'm a mad rooster.
If you think you're going to get out of this by pretending you're insane, you're crazy. Maybe you're not going to marry me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you. Don't.
Well, if you love me, you get the hell out of here!
Well, at least walk me home, won't you? I'm afraid.
Afraid we'll let him walk through the cemetery? Oh.
Mortimer, will you kiss me goodnight?
Of course, darling. Good night, darling. I'll call you up in a day or two.
You critic!
Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, come in here.
We'll be in a minute.
Come in here now.
Yes, dear, what is it? Where's Elaine?
I thought you told me you weren't going to let anybody in this house while I was gone.
Well, Jonathan is
I don't mean John.
Dr.
I don't mean Einstein either. Who's that in the window seat?
We told you, Mr. Hoskins.
Oh. It is not Mr. Hoskins.
Well, who can that be?
What are you trying to tell me you've never seen this man before?
I certainly am. This is a fine how do you do. It is so anybody thinks that you just walk into this house.
Now, Aunt Abby, don't you try and get out of this. That's another one of your gentlemen.
My Mortimer Brewster, how can you say such a thing? When that man is an imposter. And he came here to be buried in our cellar, but he's mistaken.
Aunt Abby, you would make me put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, this man could have just gotten the same idea. By the way, where is Mr. Hoskins?
We must have gone to Panama.
Oh, you buried him.
No, not yet. We haven't had any time with Jonathan in the house. He's been so patient, the poor dear. Oh, dear, we've always wanted to hold a double funeral! But I will not read services over a total stranger.
A stranger? Aunt Abby, how can I believe you? There are 12 men in the cellar, and you admit you poisoned them.
Yes, I did, but you don't think I stooped to telling a fib?
Oh.
I'd like to have a word with you.
Oh, well, words about all you'll have time for, Jonathan. Because I've decided you and your doctor friend are going to get out of this house just as quickly as possible.
Oh, I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live under the same roof. But you derived the wrong solution. So take your suitcase and get out.
Jonathan, you're beginning to bore me. You played your one-night stand here in Brooklyn. Move on.
Now, just because you graduated from the back fence to the typewriter, don't think you've grown up. Now, I'm staying, and you're leaving, and I mean now.
If you think that I can be frightened, if you think there's anything that I
I've
fear...
lived a strange life, Mortimer, but it's taught me one thing, to be afraid of nothing.
Martha, just look and see what's in the window seat.
But now it's heavy! Yes, Jonathan. Let Aunt Martha see what's in the window seat. Oh, Aunt Abby, I owe you an apology. I have very good news for you. Jonathan is just leaving. He's taking Dr. Einstein and their total companion with him. Jonathan, you're my brother. You're a Brewster. I'm going to give you a chance to get out of this house and take the evidence with you. You can't ask for more than that.
No.
Very well. In that case, I'll just have to call the police.
Don't you reach for that telephone. Now, are you still giving me orders after seeing what happened to Mr. Spinalzo?
Spinalzo? I knew he was a foreigner.
Remember, what happened to Mr. Spinalzo can happen to you, too.
Hello, Miss Abby.
Oh, Mr. O'Hara. Is there something we can do for you?
No, I just saw all your lights on. I thought there might be sickness in the house.
Come in, come in.
Yes, come in. Come right in. This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Hello.
And this is another nephew, Jonathan.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. It must be nice having you nephews visiting you. They're going to be staying with you for a while.
Oh, I'm staying. My brother Jonathan is just leaving.
Well, say, you look familiar to me. Have we met before?
I don't think
I'm
so.
afraid not. Jonathan hasn't been home for years.
Well, maybe I've seen a picture of him around here somewhere.
But yes, Jonathan, I'd hurry if I were you. Your things are unpacked anyways, aren't they?
Well, I'll be running along. I just...
Oh, what's the rush, O'Hara? I'd like to have you stick around until my brother goes.
I just stopped by to make sure everything was all
Oh, we're going to have coffee in a minute. Will you join us?
I forgot the coffee. Yes, and I'd better make some more sandwiches. I ought to know your appetite by this time, Officer O'Hara.
Well, O'Hara, you come along. My brother Jonathan will be gone soon. But sit down, will you? Oh,
I've seen a picture of your brother around here somewhere, haven't I?
I don't think so.
He certainly reminds me of somebody.
He looks like somebody you've probably seen on the movies.
I never go to the movies. I hate them. Like my mother always said, there's a satanic art.
Yes, it is. Your mother said that.
Yeah, my mother was an actress, a stage actress. Perhaps you've heard about her. Peaches Latour.
It sounds like a name I've seen on the program. What did she play?
Well, her biggest hit was Mutt and Jeff. Played it for 3 years. I was born on tour.
You were.
Yep, Sioux City, Iowa. I was born in the dressing room at the end of the second act, and my mother made the finale.
I bet there's a good story in your mother. You know, I write about the theater.
You do?
Yes.
Say, you're not Mortimer Brewster, the dramatic critic, are you?
Yes, I am.
It sure is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Brewster.
You too.
We are in the same line of work.
We are?
Yep, I'm a playwright. This being on the police force business is only temporary.
How long have you been on the force?
12 years.
I'm collecting material for a play. I'll bet it's on me.
Well, it ought to be with all the drama I see being a cop. I don't think you have any idea what goes on in Brooklyn, Mr. Brewster.
I think I have.
Say, what time you got?
10 after 1.
Gee, I gotta ring in.
Oh, wait a minute, O'Hara. On this play of yours, I may be able to help you. You would? Yes.
Gee, Mr. Brewster, it was just my fate walking in here tonight. Look, I'll tell you the plot. So my mother was around 40.
Oh, you're on your way, eh? Good. You haven't got much time, you know.
Oh, you're leaving, Jonathan. Goodbye. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. Say, doesn't this case belong to you?
Yes, Jonathan. You can't leave without all of your things. Well, O'Hara, you know, it's nice seeing you. We'll get together again and talk about your play.
I ain't leaving now, Mr. Brewster.
Well, why not?
You just offered to help me write my play.
I can't do that, O'Hara. I'm not a creative writer.
I'll do all the creating, Mr. Brewster. You just put the words to it.
But O'Hara, you
No, sir, Mr. Brewster. I ain't leaving this house until I tell you the plot.
Well, in that case, Mortimer, we'll be running along.
Oh, don't you try that. You can't go yet. You've got to take everything with you, you know? Everything. O'Hara! My brother's just going. You just run along now.
Mr. Brewster, I don't have any problem waiting. I've been waiting 12 years.
I'm sorry I went so
Oh,
long.
don't bring that into your range, Martha.
Why not?
Go, O'Hara! You mind joining us for a bite in the kitchen?
The kitchen. Jonathan's leaving. Oh, that's nice. Come along, Officer O'Hara. Sure you don't mind eating in the kitchen, Mr. O'Hara?
Where else would you eat,
Well, goodbye, Jonathan. Nice having seen you again.
Jonathan, I'm glad you came back to Brooklyn because it gives me a chance to throw you out. And the first one out was your boyfriend, Mr. Spinalzo. Clear it out.
I might have known you grew up to run a play with a policeman.
Get out of here. All three of you.
This affair between my brother and me has got to be settled.
Johnny, we've got trouble enough. Your brother gives us a chance to get away. What more can we ask for?
You don't understand, Doctor. This goes back a good many years.
Johnny, we get going now.
No, we're not going. We're staying right here.
With a cop in the kitchen and Mr. Spinalzo in the window seat?
And that's all he's got on us. We'll take Mr. Spinalzo and dump him out in the bay. And if anyone tries to interfere with me, Doctor, you can see what's going to be done, can't you?
Heck, I can see. I know that look. Fine, we do it. But if we're coming back, do we got to take both with us?
No, take the case down to the cellar. Mr. Spinalzo can go out the same way he came in.
Hey, Johnny, come quick.
What's the matter?
You know that hole down in the cellar?
Yes.
Well, I found an ace in the hole. Come on, I show you.
Jonathan! Jonathan! Jonathan!
Yes, Mortimer.
Where have you two been? I thought I told you to get going.
We're not going.
Oh, you don't think I'm serious about this, do you? Do you know O'Hara to know what's in the window seat?
We're staying right here.
All right, you asked for it. This gets me rid of you and O'Hara at the same time. O'Hara, come in here!
Well, I guess if you'll tell O'Hara what's in this window seat, I'll have to tell him down in the cellar.
The cellar?
Yes. There's an elderly gentleman down there. He seems to be very dead.
What were you two doing down in the cellar?
What was he doing down in the cellar?
Okay, ma'am, careful, calm. I got plenty. Look, Mr. Brewster, your aunts want to hear it too. Should I get them in
Now,
here?
what were you going to say to O'Hara?
O'Hara, you go ring in.
The hell with bringing in, Mr. Brewster. Your aunts want to hear it too.
No, O'Hara. Not in front of all these people. We'll get together someplace later, okay?
What about the cellar?
That's all right by me. No. We'll meet at Kelly's, yes. You go ring in and I'll meet you there.
That won't take more than a few minutes, Mr. Brewster.
All right. I'll ditch this guy and be back in 5 minutes. I expect to find you two gone. Wait for me.
Oh, we'll wait for him, Doctor. I've waited a great many years for a chance like this.
We got him right where we want to. Did he look guilty?
Take the bags up to the room.
They gone yet? No. Thought you heard somebody leave.
Just Mortimer, and he'll be back in a few minutes. Say, is there anything left in the kitchen? Dr. Einstein and I would enjoy a bite.
But you won't have time. No, if you're still here when Mortimer gets back, he won't like it.
He'll like it. He's got to like it.
Please get something for us to eat while we bury Mr. Spinalzo in the cellar.
Oh no. He can't stay in our cellar. No, Jonathan, you've got to take him with you.
Well, there's a friend of Mortimer's downstairs waiting for him.
Friend of Mortimer's?
Yes. Him and Mr. Spinelza will get along just fine. They're both dead.
Oh, they must be Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins?
You know about what's downstairs?
Yes, and we're going to need all the space down there, so you can't take Mr. Spinelza.
Why?
Well, it's very crowded already. There are 12 graves down there now.
Crowded? What?
Well, 12 graves.
It's the 12 graves.
Yes, and that leaves very little room. We're going to need it.
So you murdered people?
Murdered? Certainly not. Why, it's one of our charities. What we've been doing is a mercy.
So you've done that here, and then this house, and then you buried them in
Johnny.
the cellar.
We've been chased all over the world. They stay right here in Brooklyn and do just as good as we do. They have 12, and you have 12.
I have 13.
No, Johnny, you have 12.
I said I have 13. Well, there's Mr. Spinelza, of course. Then the first one in London, 2 in Johannesburg, 1 in Sydney, 1 in Melbourne, 2 in St. Petersburg, 1 in Phoenix, Arizona,
Phoenix?
the filling station. Then there's also 3 in Chicago and 1 in South Bend.
The one
That
in
is-
South Bend didn't count. He died of pneumonia.
Well, he would have gotten pneumonia if I didn't shoot him.
No, Johnny, he died of pneumonia. He doesn't count.
He counts with me. I say 13!
Stop! Stop!
No, Johnny, he died of pneumonia. He doesn't count. You have 12, and they have 12. The old ladies are just as good as you.
Oh, are they? well, that's easily taken care of. All I need is one more. Just one more.
Well, here I am.
You stop doing that! It's our house and it's our cellar, and you can't do that! Please, go back upstairs and do it all.
Abby, Martha, go upstairs.
There's no use in doing what you're doing. It'll just have to be undone. I tell you we won't have it, and you better stop it right now. All right, well, you'll find out. You'll find out whose house this is. I'm warning you, you better stop it. Has Mortimer come back yet? No. It's just a terrible thing to do. Bury a good Methodist with a foreigner. I will not have our cellar desecrated. And we promised Mr. Hoskins a full Christian funeral. And when's Mortimer went? I don't know, but he must be doing something. He said to Jonathan, "You just wait, I'll settle this." Well, he can't very well settle it while he's out of the house. I mean, it's all we want settled. What's going on down there?
All right now, where's Teddy?
Mortimer, where have you been?
I've been over to Dr. Gilchrist. I got his signature on Teddy's commitment papers.
Mortimer, what's the matter with you? Running around with your paper sack tied like this? Do you know what Jonathan's doing? He's putting Mr. Hoskins and Mr. Spinelza in together. And how gross!
Oh, he is he? Well, let him. Is Teddy in this room?
Teddy won't be any help.
Look, when Teddy signs these commitment papers, I can tackle Jonathan.
Well, what's they got to do with it?
You just had to tell Jonathan about those 12 graves. If I can make Teddy responsible for those, I can protect you. But don't you see?
No, I don't see. And we pay taxes to have the police protect us.
I'll be back down in a minute.
Come, Martha, we're going for the police.
All right. The police? You can't go for the police.
Why can't we?
Because if you tell the police about Mr. Spinelza, they'd find Hoskins too. And that might make them a little curious, and they'd find out about the other 12 bodies.
Now, Mortimer, we know the police better than you do. I don't think they'd pry into our private affairs if we asked them not to.
But if they found the other 12 bodies, they'd have to report to headquarters.
You know, dear, I'm not so sure they'd bother. They'd have to write a very long report.
I am going to do something. We may have to call the police in later, but if we do, I want to be ready for it.
But you've got to get Jonathan out of this house.
And Mr. Spinalzo, too.
Will you please let me do this my way? Oh, I've got to speak to Teddy.
If they're not out to be by the morning, Mortimer, we're going to call the police.
They'll be out, I promise you. Go to bed, will you? For God's sakes, get out of those clothes. You look like the bride of Dracula.
Well, that's a relief, isn't it, Abby? Yes. But you know, Mortimer's really going to do something at last. It just means Jonathan's going to a lot of unnecessary trouble. Yes. We better tell him. Good idea. Jonathan, you might as well stop what you're doing.
It's all done. Did I hear, Mortimer?
Well, it will just have to be undone. You're all going to be out of here by morning. Mortimer's promised.
Oh, are we? Well, in that case, you and Aunt Martha can go to bed and have a pleasant night's sleep.
Yes, come, Abby.
Good night, aunties.
Not good night, Jonathan. Goodbye. By the time we get up, you'll be out of this house. Mortimer's promised. And he has a way of doing it, too.
Then Mortimer is back.
Yes, he's up here talking to Teddy. Goodbye, Jonathan. Goodbye, Jonathan.
Perhaps you'd better say goodbye to Mortimer.
Oh, you'll see, Mortimer.
Oh, I'll see Mortimer.
Phew. That solar fixed up. Smooth like a lake. Nobody'd ever know if it were down there. That bed feels good already. For the 8 hours we didn't sleep. Come on, Johnny. We go to bed now.
You're forgetting, Doctor.
What?
My brother, Mortimer.
Johnny, tonight? We do that tomorrow. Or the next day.
No, tonight. Now.
Johnny, please. I'm tired. And tomorrow, I go to operating.
Yes, you're operating tomorrow, Doctor. But tonight, we take care of Mortimer.
Johnny, not tonight. We do that some other time.
It's a little too late for us to dissolve our partnership.
Yeah, yes it is. Fine, we do it. With a quick leg. A quick twist, like in London.
No. I think this calls for something special. Perhaps the Melbourne method.
No, Johnny, not that. 2 hours. And when it was over, what? The fellow in London was just as dead as the fellow in Melbourne.
Why, we had to work too fast in London. There was no aesthetic satisfaction in it. But Melbourne, there was something to remember.
Remember? I wish I didn't. No, Johnny, not Melbourne. Not me.
Where are your instruments?
I won't tell you,
I
Johnny.
said, get your instruments.
No.
Where are they? Oh, you had them in the cellar. Where?
I won't tell you, Johnny.
I'll find them, Doctor.
Oh, don't do that, Mr. President. But I cannot sign any proclamation without consulting my cabinet.
But this must be a secret.
A secret proclamation? How unusual.
Japan mustn't know until it's signed.
Japan knows yellow devils. I'll sign it right away. You have my word, Lord. I can let the cabinet know later.
Yes, let's go and sign it.
No, you stay here. A secret proclamation must be signed in secret.
But at once, Mr.
I'll
President.
have to get ready.
Ah, you go now. Yeah.
No, Doctor. I've got to do something. Something important.
Please, you go now.
Oh, look, Doctor. I have nothing against you personally. I mean, you seem like a nice fellow. Take my advice and get out of this house and get just as far away as possible.
Trouble. Yeah, you get out.
Oh, don't see, I didn't warn you.
I'm warning you. Get out quick.
Things are going to start popping around here any minute.
Look, Johnny, he's in a bad mood. When he gets like this, things happen. Terrible things.
But Jonathan doesn't worry me now.
Ah, Kill. Don't those plays you see teach you anything?
About what?
At least the people in plays act like they got sense. That's more than you do.
Oh, you think so, do you? You think people in plays Lace Act intelligently? I wish you had to see some of the ones I have to sit through. Take the little opus I saw tonight, for instance. In this play, there's a man. He's supposed to be bright. He knows he's in a house of murderers. He ought to know he's in some sort of danger. He's even been warned to get out of that house. But does he go? No, he stays there. Now I ask you, Doctor, is that what an intelligent person would do?
You're asking me.
The fellow in the play didn't even have enough sense to be frightened to be on guard. Well, for instance, the murderer invites him to sit down.
You mean, won't you sit down?
Believe it or not, that one's in there too.
And what did he do?
He sat down. Now, mind you, this fellow's supposed to be bright. So there he sits, just waiting to be trussed up. And guess what they used to tie him with?
What?
The curtain cord.
Well, why not? A good idea. Very convenient.
A little too convenient. What our playwright's going to use some imagination. The curtain cord.
He didn't see him get it.
See him? The fellow sat there with his back to him. That's the kind of stuff I have to suffer through night after night. And they say the critics are killing the theater. It's the playwrights. Anyway, so there he sits, the big toad, just waiting to be trusted and gagged.
Just be quiet. We'll be over in a second. You know, you were right about that fella. He wasn't very bright.
Now, Mortimer, if you don't mind, we'll finish the story. Oh, Mortimer, I've been away for 20 years, but never once in all that time, my dear brother, were you out of my mind. In Melbourne, one night, I dreamt of you. When I landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction. Once more, I was in the same country with you. Now, Doctor, we go to work.
Johnny, for me, the quick way.
Doctor, this must be really an artistic achievement. After all, we're performing in front of a very distinguished critic.
Johnny!
Doctor,
Fine, we do it. But I want to have a drink first.
pull yourself together, Doctor.
I got to have a drink first. You know I can't do this without a drink. When we walked in here, there was that wine, remember? What do you think of that? Here it is. Now we got the drink soda. We both need a drink.
Wait, Doctor. Where are your manners? Oh, Mortimer, I realize now it was you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Doctor, to my dear dead. That idiot! He wrote text, that's all. He goes next.
That's where I stopped. Not Teddy.
We'll get to Teddy later.
We don't get to him at all.
We gotta work fast.
Yeah, the quick way. Hey, Johnny.
Yes, Doctor, the quick way.
Look, the Cardinal's gotta quit blowing that horn.
Oh, it's all right, officer. We're taking the people away from him in the morning.
We promised the neighbors he'd quit doing that.
We'll take it away, officer. Good night.
I better speak to him myself. Where is he at?
Officer.
You! I waited over an hour at Kelly's here. Don't demand me! I suppose you were a little tied up.
environment. They practically stole that from Act 2 of my play. Well, in my play, just before the... I'd better begin at the beginning. We open in my mother's dressing room, where I was born. Only I ain't born yet. No, you're finally gonna hear the plot. A man walks in. A man with a big black mustache, and he says to her, "Miss Latour, will you marry me?" He doesn't know she's pregnant. There she is. The chink standing over her with the hatchet! I'm tied up in a chair, just like you are, when all of a sudden, the place bursts into flames! It's on fire! Then in through the window comes none other than Mayor LaGuardia himself! Hey, go easy on that. Remember who bought it.
Well, I'm listening, ain't I?
How do you like it so far?
Well, they put Johnny to sleep.
Let him alone. If he ain't got any more interest than that, he don't get a drink. Anyway, I'm walking my beat on Staten Island, 46th precinct, when the guy I'm following, it turns out, is really following me. Don't let anybody in. So I figure I'll outsmart him. There's a vacant house on the corner. I goes in.
It's cops.
I stands there in the dark,
Johnny,
and
Johnny,
I see
wake
the
up.
door handle turn.
Johnny, wake up, it's cops. Johnny, wake up.
I pulls my gun. I braces myself against the wall and I
You
says,
really gotta stop doing
"Come in!"
Did you have the time off to make them listen?
Joe, you better report back to the station right now. There's a whole force out there looking for you.
There is? They sent you here looking for me?
We didn't know he was here, Joe.
We came because now the old ladies have house pay. Colonel blew that bugle again in the middle of the night.
From the way the neighbors are calling in about it, I mean, you think the Germans just dropped a bomb up Buckbush Avenue?
Now, it's on warpath. She says the colonel's gotta be put away someplace.
Yes, yes! Gee, Mr. Brewster, I gotta get away. So I'll just run through the third act real quick. Get away from me!
Say, Joe, do you know what time it is? Because it's after 8 o'clock in the morning.
It is? Gee, Mr. Brewster, them first two acts run a little long. 7.5 hours. But I just don't see anything we can cut out. You can leave it all out.
Oh my God, what is that?
That's my brother.
The one that ran away? So we came back.
Yes, he came back.
This is broke, we get me Mac. Gonna let them know we found you, Joe. Tell Lieutenant she can call up the big man. We got him. It's Bruce Downs of all places. Do you want us to bring him in? Okay. We'll keep him right here. All right, yes, ma'am. The lieutenant is on her way over.
So I've been turned in, huh? All right. And I suppose you and that stool pigeon brother of mine will split the reward, huh?
Reward?
So now I'll do some turning in. You think my aunts are just sweet and charming old ladies, huh? Well, there are 13 bodies buried in the cellar.
Teddy!
What the hell are you talking about?
Hey, you better be careful about what you're saying about your aunts, Bob, and company friends of ours.
I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. Come down to the cellar with me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Come down to the cellar and I'll show you the 13 bodies. Oh, yeah.
Hey, just go down to the cellar and it ain't gonna hurt you.
I'm not so sure I want to go down to the cellar with him. I mean, look at that pussy. He looks like Boris Karloff.
Hey, what did he get to?
What do you know about that?
Come in.
Hell, have you two been all night? I told you I was going to take care of this.
Oh, well, man, we just...
What? The mouth. Shut it. What happened to him? Did he put a fight?
No, this ain't the fellow that blows the bugle. This is his brother. And hey, he tried to kill Clyde.
I just said they look like Boris Karloff.
Turn him over. Ew, he's worse in person.
I kind of think he's wanted somewhere.
Think he's wanted somewhere?
Yes.
Do you two not look at the wanted posters we hang up in the station? Of course he's wanted, you morons! In Indiana! He escaped from the prison for the criminal insane! He's a lifer! For God's sakes, you two, that's how he was described. He looked like Karloff.
They mentioned a reward?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm claiming it.
Hey, he tried to get us down the basement.
Yeah, you said that there were 13 bodies buried down there.
13 bodies buried in the Brewster cellar.
Yes.
And that didn't tip you off that it came out of the nut house? I mean, really, you two?
I thought Almighty talked a little crazy.
Well, look who decided to show up. William frickin' Shakespeare! Hell, have you been all night? Didn't feel the need to report in.
I've been right here, writing my play with Mortimer Brewster.
Yeah? Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to write that play, O'Hara. You're suspended. Now get back and report in!
So this means I can't use the station typewriter anymore, right?
Yes! Get out! Take that guy somewhere else and bring him to. See what you can find out about his accomplice. Not right now, you meatheads! Take him into the kitchen and interrogate him! And fall into that kind of story. 13 bodies. Really?
But there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who are you?
I'm President Roosevelt.
Stop saluting! What the hell is going on here?
Oh, this is the fellow that blows the bugle.
Good morning, Colonel.
More.
Are you gonna get that guy out of here?
Another yellow fever victim.
What are you talking about?
All the bodies in the cellar are yellow fever victims.
No, Colonel. This is the spy we found in the White House.
Well, if there's any question of spies, it's my department. Get him out of here, man.
Go! And you keep out of this.
You're forgiving. As president, I'm also head of the Secret Service.
Captain, I'm Mortimer Brewster.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'd like to talk to you about my brother, Teddy, the one who blew the bugle.
Mr. Brewster, we ain't gonna talk about Teddy. He has to be put away.
I quite agree with you. In fact, it's all arranged for. I had these commitment papers signed by Dr. Gilchrist, our family physician. Teddy's even signed them himself, you see, and I sent him as next of kin.
Where's he going?
To Happydale.
All right, I don't care where he goes as long as he goes.
Oh, he's going, all right. I want you to know that everything that's happened here, Teddy's responsible for. Now, those 13 bodies...
Yeah, those 13 bodies in the cellar. You know, it ain't enough that he blows his bugle all night and the neighbors were all afraid of him. But can you imagine what would happen if some cockeyed story about 13 bodies in a cellar got out? And now he's starting yellow fever scare. Cute, ain't it?
13 bodies! You think anybody would believe that story?
Well, some people are just dumb enough. About a year ago, a crazy guy started a murder rumor over in Greenpoint, and I had to personally dig up an entire half-acre lot by myself, which let me tell you, is not even a joke.
Excuse me for a second, will you?
This is Miss Witherspoon. She's come to meet Teddy.
To meet Teddy.
Miss Witherspoon, the superintendent of Happydale?
Oh, of course. This is Captain Rooney.
Lieutenant Rooney, but thank you. And I'm glad you're here, Zico, because Teddy is going back to Happydale with you today.
Today? I didn't know that it was today.
Look, Elaine, I've got a lot of business to attend to, so you just run along home.
Nice. I didn't know that it was this immediate.
The papers were all signed. He's going today.
Complete insubordination. You men will find out I'm no mollycoddle. When the President of the United States is treated like that, what's this country coming to?
That's your man, Super. You
Stop.
know what I meant?
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute, please. So, Mr. President, I have very good news for you. The curator of office is over.
Is this March the 4th?
Practically.
Well, let's see. Now I go on my hunting trip to Africa.
Yes.
I must get started immediately.
Yes.
Is he trying to get to the White House before I've gotten out of it?
Who, Teddy?
Town!
Oh, this is Miss Witherspoon. She's the beer guide in Africa.
Bully, bully! I'll bring down my women. When the safari comes, tell them to wait. Oh, goodbye, Aunt Abby.
Bye.
Goodbye, Aunt Martha. I'm on my way to Africa. Isn't it wonderful? Charge!
Good morning, girls.
Good morning. We have visitors.
Oh, yes. This is Lieutenant Rooney.
Oh, Lieutenant Rooney, how do you do? My, you don't look like the fussbudget policemen say you are.
Why, the lieutenant is here. You know, Teddy Foo's bugle again last night.
Oh, yes, we're going to speak to Teddy about that. It's a little more serious than that.
Oh, and this is Miss Witherspoon.
Miss Witherspoon, how do you do? You've come to meet Teddy. No, she's come to take him.
Aunties, the police want Teddy to go there today.
Oh, no, not while we're alive. I'm sorry, lady, but he signed the commitment papers and he's going along with the superintendent. Well, we won't permit it. We promise to take the evil away from him. I'm sorry, lady, but the law's the law. He's committed himself and he's going. Well, if he's going, we're going too. Yes, you'll have to take us with him.
Well, why not?
Well, you see, it's quite impossible, Mr. Brewster. What would people think of me if I just took sane people to Happydale?
If you'll let us live there with Teddy, we'll see that Happydale in our will, and for a very generous amount.
Well, the Lord knows we could use the money, but I'm just afraid that...
Now, let's be sensible about this. For instance, here I am, spending my morning here, when I have actual serious police work to attend to. You know there are still murders to be solved in Brooklyn?
Oh, yes. Oh, are there?
Yeah, it ain't just his bugle blowing. But sooner or later, it would just get worse. We'd be put to the trouble of digging up your cellar. I am
Our
not
cellar?
Yeah, your nephew's been telling around that there are 13 bodies in your cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in our cellar.
Oh, Lieutenant, if that's why you think Teddy has to go away, then you come right down to the cellar with us and we'll prove it to you.
Well, there's one, Mr. Spinaldo, who doesn't belong there, who will have to leave. But the other 12 are our gentlemen.
I don't think the lieutenant wants to go down to the cellar. She was just telling me that only last year she had to dig up a half an acre lot. Weren't you, Lieutenant?
That's right.
Well, you wouldn't have to dig any graves here. All our graves are marked. We put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers. Superintendent, do you think you could find some room at Happydale for these people?
Well, I don't just come along or show you the way.
I'll take your word for it, ma'am. I'm a busy woman. How about it, Super?
They have to be committed.
Well, Teddy committed himself. But can't they just sign the papers to commit themselves?
Oh, of course.
If we can go with Teddy, we'll sign the papers right away. Where are they?
Yes, where are they?
Coming around, Lieutenant.
Good morning, Mr. Klein.
Good morning. Are you here too?
Yes, we have your other nephew. This one.
Well, sign him up, Superintendent.
I must be going.
Oh, no. At one point last night, I thought the doctor was going to strangle me. Sit down. Sign right there.
Were you leaving, Doctor?
I think I must be going.
Oh,
Aren't you going to wait for Jonathan?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
hello, Elena. I'm glad to see you. Stick around, huh?
Don't worry. I'm going to. Hello, Mac. This is Rooney. We picked up that guy that's wanted in Indiana. Now, there's a description of his accomplice on my desk. Read it to me. Okay? About 5'6", gray hair, brown eyes, speaks with a German accent, poses as a doctor. Thanks, Mac.
It's all right, Lieutenant. The doctor here's just finished the signatures.
Well. Thanks, Doc. You are really doing Brooklyn a service today. Thank you. Nice voice.
Mr. Brewster, the sign now is next to his.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, right here.
That's fine.
All right. Everything complete. Everything legal?
Oh, yes.
Well, aunties, now you're safe.
When do you two think we'll be ready to start?
Miss Witherspoon, why don't you go upstairs and tell Teddy just what he can take along?
Upstairs?
Oh, yes, I'll show you.
No, Mortimer, you stay here. We want to talk to you. Yes, Miss Witherspoon, just upstairs and turn to the left. Well, dear, now that we're leaving, this house really is yours. Yes, dear, we want you to live here now.
No, Aunt Abby. This house is too full of memories.
But we don't own them. Later, Randy.
Darlings, that's very indefinite.
It's nothing of the kind. We're going to be married right away. But Mortimer, I'm really very worried about something.
You're going to love it at Happydale.
Oh, yes, of course. We're very excited about the whole thing. That's just it. We don't want anything to go wrong. Will they investigate those signatures?
Oh, they will look up Dr. Einstein.
It's not his, dear. It's yours. You see, you signed his next of kin.
Well, yes, of course. Why not?
Well, dear, it's something we never wanted to tell you, but you're a man now. And it's really something that they should know too. You see, dear, you're not really a Brewster. You see, your mother came to us as a cook, and you were born about 3 months afterward. Poor husband had just died. She was such a sweet woman, though. Such a good cook. We didn't want to lose her. So we adopted her and brought you up ourselves.
I'm not really a Brewster?
Now don't be upset about it. And Elaine is hoping to be nice for you.
Elaine, did you hear? Do you understand? I'm adopted!
Oh! Well, I really must get started on breakfast.
Mortimer's coming over to my house. Mother's gone to Philadelphia, and Mortimer and I are going to have breakfast together.
Oh, yes, I need some coffee.
And in that case, I should think you want to get to bed.
I do.
Never makes us excited about our breakfast. We won't be needing the wagon, you two. My car's out front. You're leaving now, Jonathan. Yeah, he's going back to Indiana. There's some people there that want to take care of him for the rest of his life. Well, Jonathan, it's nice to know you have someplace to go. We're leaving too. Yes, we're going to Happydale.
This house has seen the last of Brewster's, huh?
Unless Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion to make. Why didn't you turn this house over to the church?
We never thought of that.
After all, it should be part of the cemetery.
You know, while I would love to stay and chat about doilies and such, I have work to do. Let's keep it moving.
Goodbye, aunties. Well, I can't better my score, but neither can you. At least I have that satisfaction. The score stands even. 12 to 12.
Let's go.